In our previous video surrounding the equipment of the Extinction Dragon, we explored the legend surrounding the armor of the Elder Dragon, where hunters may gain a blessing or curse when donning these powerful sets of armor. Today, we will be exploring the legend which have been etched into the very weapons crafted from this monster to understand the purpose of these armaments when held by the hands of a hunter. Let's go ahead and check them out. Hey everyone, Corno Pinoy X here once again, back with another Monster Hunter video, and today we will be continuing our research surrounding the equipment of the Extinction Dragon known as Nergigante to better understand the overall legends when it comes to the equipment of this Elder Dragon. In our previous video, we went ahead and explored the armor set of the Nergigante to better understand the effects of this armor set when being donned by different kinds of hunters. If you want to go ahead and check that out, I've gone ahead and put a link in the description below so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. Now in this video, we're going to continue conducting our research on the equipment of the Extinction Dragon by exploring the legends of the weapons surrounding the Nergigante. Now these weapons do not have an underlying theme right off the bat, unlike that of what we see with the armor, where we already have Nergigante Hunger and Nergigante's Ambition. Instead, what we have to do here is we need to observe each individual weapon and their description and be able to build up the legend of the armaments of the Extinction Dragon by understanding the connections between the descriptions of each individual weapon. So we're gonna go ahead and explore all of the weapons available for the Nergigante, see what they all have in common with regards to their description, and be able to build the legend of the armaments of the Extinction Dragon. Now the Nergigante is one of those monsters that has one of each weapon type available to it, meaning that we will have a total of 14 descriptions, one for each weapon type. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first weapon on this list, which is going to be the Great Sword. The Great Sword, Purgation's atrocity, is said to offer solemn judgment to the sinner made to kneel before it. The Long Sword, Extermination's edge, is said to carve free the pure soul from within the sinner's body. The Sword and Shield, Eradication Vanguard, is said to sever the chain of grief created by the sinner's acts. The Dual Blades, Decimation Claws, are said to embrace the sinner with a promise of purification. The Hammer, Obliteration's Footfall, is said to offer the sinner a final release from guilt and pain. The Hunting Horn, Desolation's Overture, are said to sing the voice of justice, separating guilty from innocent. The Lance, Perdition's Hand, are said to pry free the guilt hidden within the sinner's breast. The Gun Lance, Eradication Flame, its fangs bared, the sinner lost in shadow at last sees light. The Switch Axe, Dying Light, its blades represent the two choices the sinner faces. The Charge Blade, Devastation Thorns, its every spike reflects a sin, each stab an act of absolution. The Insect Glaive, Catastrophe's Light, its twin horns pointed heavenwards to show the way to sinners. The Light Bowgun, Cataclysm's Trigger, the bolts fired from this light bowgun protrude from prey like grave markers. The Heavy Bowgun, Destruction's Fusillade, its thorns pierce the sinner's flesh and cleanse their soul. And finally, the Bow, Doom's Shaft, it is drawn to the sinner, its roar an arrow of holy judgment. So now that we have observed all of the descriptions etched within the weapons of the Extinction Dragon, there's definitely a recurring theme here that I'm sure many of you will have already noticed at this point. Every single weapon usually mentions a form of sinner, and we either absolve or punish this so-called sinner when we utilize the Nergigante armaments. Now we don't exactly know who this sinner is, but we can potentially deduce what they are. They are more than likely going to be some form of Elder Dragon, and the main reason for this is because of the origin of these weapons. They come from the Extinction Dragon, Nergigante, who is believed by the Research Commission to not be a natural disaster, but one who maintains the natural ecosystem ecosystem within the New World. So this means that the legend within the weapons are actually based on the purpose of the Elder Dragon. This means that even though we slay the Elder Dragon and covet its materials in order to forge these weapons, the purpose of Nergigante continues on with the very weapons that we wield. We use these weapons in order to become judge, jury, and executioner when facing off against certain Elder Dragons, and the Nergigante continues its work through the powers of the Hunter. Now, with all of this being said, the Elder Dragon Nergigante is more than capable of fulfilling its own role in maintaining the natural balance within the ecosystem of the New World and judging any creatures who would dare to disrupt this natural balance. This means that for any hunters who wish to covet the materials required in order to forge any of its weapons, they will need to face off against the Eater of Elders and be ready to be judged by the Elder Dragon to see whether or not they are worthy to covet any of the materials surrounding the Extinction Dragon. Should the Eater of Elders be allowed to fulfill its role completely unhindered, however, eventually the Elder Dragon would take on a drastic transformation into its variant state, dubbed as the Armour of Nergigante, in order for the monster to take on even more powerful creatures across the New World that could potentially disrupt the natural balance within the ecosystem. This transformation for Nergigante also means new materials can be coveted from the Elder Dragon, allowing hunters who already have the existing armaments to upgrade them into something even more powerful. New descriptions have been etched into these upgraded weapons in order to further coincide with the transformation of not just the weapons but the Elder Dragon as well. And as we go through these descriptions, you'll start to notice that the tone has shifted into something along the lines of judging a sinner all the way up to divine intervention. We're gonna go ahead and observe these transformed descriptions, see what they say, and get a better idea as to how the evolution of the monster coincides with the evolutions of the weapon as well. First, the Greatsword, Ruinous Atrocity. The hour of pardon is nigh. The barbs of this greatsword cleave sins away. The Longsword, Ruinous Extermination. Bow low, condemned one. This longsword serves as an executioner's blade. The Sword and Shield, Ruinous Madness. The end of days is nigh. This sword and shield severs sin from sinner. The Dual Blades, Ruinous Decimation. Fear me, the judge of thy sins. These dual blades' talons rend the guilty. The Hammer, Ruinous Obliteration. Prostrate thyself, sinner. This hammer's thorns gnash at the wicked. The Hunting Horn, Ruinous Desolation. May the wicked repent. This hunting horn's roar purifies the soul of evil. The Lance, Ruinous Perdition. Bend the knee before me, sinner. This lance can pierce even the blackest heart. The Gun Lance, Ruinous Eradication. Do not avert thy wicked eyes. This gun lance breeds the fires of perdition. The Switch Axe, Ruinous Light. Bow deep, wicked one. This switch axe cuts down evil without mercy. The Charge Blade, Ruinous Devastation. Receive now thy judgment. This charge blade's needles pierce only the wicked. The Insect Glaive, Ruinous Catastrophe. The hour of judgment is come. This insect glaive shatters the unrepentant. The Light Bowgun, Ruinous Cataclysm. Confess thy sins unto me. This light bowgun perforates the guilty. The Heavy Bowgun, Ruinous Destruction. Receive the wages of your sin. This heavy bowgun blasts away the dark. And finally, the Bow, Ruinous Doom. No despair, unrepentant one. This bow rains down bolts upon the iniquitous. And so with these descriptions set in stone for the armaments of the Armour of Nergigante, we are painted a much clearer picture on the purpose of these weapons as well as the dragon which these weapons originate from. Not only are these weapons forged with the purpose of maintaining the balance within the New World, they are also forged in order for hunters to deliver the Nergigante's punishment to any monsters who would interfere with the delicate balance within the ecosystem. The divine punishment of the extinction dragon allows the new world to prosper and prevent an ecological collapse, meaning that its purpose is a necessary one, which is further supported by the statements of the Admiral as well as the Seeker, who believe that the Ether of Elders is a phenomena which exercises natural purification.
And when things reach a tipping point, the abnormalities start showing up.
Wait, if that's the case, won't the ecosystem eventually just destroy itself?
No. That's where NERGIGANTE comes in.
What?
Natural purification. Nature. It has unique mechanisms to detect irregularities and balance itself. Perhaps against such a large irregularity, that balancing mechanism was in fact...
Nergigante!
Looks like we still have much to learn. Perhaps our work is just one part of a balancing mechanism.
The weapons themselves extend the influence of the Nergigante to the hunters of the New World, allowing the monster to once again fulfill its role within the New World through the powers of the hunter, showcasing that no monster is ever safe from the Nergigante's punishment if they commit wicked sins that would have them in the radar of the extinction dragon. But just as the armor would deliver either a blessing or curse upon the hunters who adorn them, so too do the weapons carry either a blessing or curse, as the weight of responsibility in maintaining the natural balance within the ecosystem of the New World may be an insurmountable task for any hunters who would wield these weapons of the Ether of Elders. And so with this information in mind, hunters must ask themselves whether they are prepared to take on the full weight of this responsibility and be ready to face off against any dangers that are presented to them in order to deliver the Nergigante's punishment. And so with all of this information gathered, we can conclude that all of the weapons forged from the materials of the extinction dragon were ultimately created in order to either punish or absolve any monsters who may have committed a sin against the New World. Depending on the severity of their sin, their punishment will also be just as severe. Having said this, however, regardless if a monster is absolved or completely punished based on their sin, the conclusion remains ultimately the same for the fate of the monster. These creatures would meet their end. And that is pretty much it for this video exploring the weapons of the extinction dragon that is the Nergigante. Hopefully you have found this quite informative in understanding the narrative behind these weapons as well as the armor that we explored back in my previous video. What do you think about the legends surrounding the weapons of the Nergigante? Let us know in the comments below your thoughts and opinions regarding these weapons and the descriptions etched within them. Now with all of that being said, if you enjoyed these videos, please consider leaving a like on the video itself and subscribing to the channel as well as hitting that bell icon so you can go ahead and catch up on any future Monster Hunter content that I might be doing or any other games that I might be playing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.